the Chin Gigante. He's said to be one of the most powerful mobsters in America. His lawyers say he's insane, but tonight it appears Gigante will finally be brought to justice.
Alleged Genovese boss Vinny the Chin Gigante, second from the left, standing outside his social club in Little Italy with Bobby Manna. Manna and some of the others plotted to kill John and Jean Gotti on the orders of Vinny the Chin. Gigante is often seen walking outside his social club in a bathrobe, sometimes accompanied by his brother, Father Louis Gigante, on the right. Vinny the Fish said Bobby Manna and Vincent Gigante approved the 1982 killing of Nat Maselli.
Your father, mob boss Vincent the Chin Gigante, did you know he was the boss of the family?
I knew by then, I knew everything. I knew he was the boss of the Genovese, but I also know he ran the commission. And I knew what that meant at that time. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like it was a combination of feelings of, wow, like that's enormous. Like, I can't imagine how many people he has to deal with, almost like the CEO of a company, right?
Right.
And then there was the fear of the FBI could come at any time and take him. But there was also the feeling like we were very much protected because nobody would even think to come near us or touch us or anything like that. And so there was a mixed bag of emotions of it, you know? But when I finally understood and knew that, it's almost like I took a deep breath and went, oh, okay, now I understand. It was like, I got a lot of the things that I didn't understand before. I totally understood now, and why and all of that. And then, in my family, they were just trying to protect me,
Right.
Because I came so much further after everybody. They were just trying to protect me, but the protection was to the point where it was hurting me because I didn't understand what was going on. So the fear of not knowing was even worse,
I thought it was interesting. I saw where you said that your father made a comment to you about the real organized crime in this country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because he would say that, I've heard him say that quite a few times. Because he would say that, the government, they wanted him, right? They didn't want him on the street anymore. And he did a lot of good for communities. He helped my uncle build up the Bronx, helped a lot of people in the neighborhood, But he also did other things that the government said, well, this is how my father would put it. Well, they can't get a piece of it. They can't get a piece of it. They want me,
Yeah.
And so he'd say they're the real organized crime because they can get away with whatever they want, whenever they want, and they're not thinking about the people around them that they might be able to help. They're thinking about themselves and lining their pockets. And my dad was a very generous man. Money really didn't mean much to him in the sense that he knew it came and it went. It came and it went. He wasn't worried about it. He could manifest it on a dime. It wasn't about that. But if he could help his community, he did it.
What year was it that he ultimately was arrested?
So he died in 2005 and he was in jail for 12 years. But he still had to go through, it was in the 90s. He still had he was home with the bracelet around him and he had to get an operation and all of that. So that didn't happen. It didn't happen for a while, but it was in the 90s.
The reputed head of the Genovese crime family now faces 30 years in prison following his conviction today for racketeering and conspiracy to commit murder. Vincent Chin Gigante had evaded prosecution for years by claiming mental illness.
And then he got sentenced to 12 years. And by the time the 12 years was up, they went to him and they said, listen, if you don't tell us everything, who you are, all of this, admit to it, we're going to go after the family for obstruction of justice. You know, and that's all he had to hear. That was it. That ended everything.
And
A
so
couple of times, he, you know, you would hear his voice on the. This is the first time he got on the phone in 40-something years, because 9/11 happened, and he called to make sure everybody was okay, and he was very lucid on the phone. Even when he would call, he wasn't really lucid, we'll say, or he would talk. Sometimes he would mumble. Some, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was very short conversations. But this time, it was like, you know, he knew. He was afraid that somebody was hurt and all that, so he called the house and had a whole conversation, and that was part of, like, not good, because then they knew he was okay.